any time that a doctor says आपके पास ज़्यादा time नहीं है, you know it's going to be cancer, you know. So that's the kind of image that the society or maybe, you know, movies especially have made around us, you know, and that is what I also carried forward. Honestly, it never occurred to me as such that what if I'm going to die or this or that. I told everybody, you know, that let's just focus on being positive. I want that kind of energy around me. Let's all have this deep faith in us that I'm going to come out of it and that this is only a phase. India, you know, still around 50 to 60% of women go to the doctors when it has reached an advanced stage. And that is why, you know, the mortality rate in India is very high. Cancer in itself is a taboo. Still in India, and if it is of the breast, then oh my god, it's even a bigger problem, you know, because breast is supposedly just a sexual organ.
So hello everyone, today we are talking to Dr. Neeti Chhabra. She is the founder of Yes to Life and she is a breast cancer winner who dealt with the disease at the age of 31 years with positive attitude and the positive thinking and strength. So Yes to Life is an NGO that started its operation in 2014. And the team is working towards breast cancer awareness, cancer screening, and patient support, both emotional, financial, and also rehabilitation support. She started this NGO with all her heart and soul to serve and help whoever is fighting this disease. And Neeti's vision to contribute is to reduce the mortality rate arising from breast cancer. And this is her driving force and also her organization's, her NGO's driving force. So, hello, Dr. Neeti. Welcome to this interview with us.
Thanks, Jyoti. Thanks for the kind introduction. And thank you to Women's Web for inviting me over and giving me a chance to interact with all of your listeners and, you know, to be able to reach out to them.
Let's start with your experience of breast cancer first. Like, you know, how the diagnosis and how did you cope, the recovery process and the support that you received and the journey thereafter.
Okay, so my diagnosis happened back in 2012. You know, I was 31 years old. And I think that's a pretty young age to be diagnosed with something as breast cancer. But I know of girls who are even being diagnosed in their 20s now. So coming to think of it now, I no longer think of it as a very young age. But, you know, I had never done a self-breast exam. Like, my mind had never gone over to think about any kind of screenings or examinations because the thought of cancer never came to my mind. Thankfully, there's no family history, you know, so I'd never seen anything like that in the family. And somehow cancer always looked like a very filmy bimari to me, you know, like something that they only show in the movies, you know, like any time that a doctor says aapke paas zyada time nahi hai, you know it's going to be cancer, you know. So that's the kind of image that the society or maybe, you know, movies especially have made around us, you know, and that is what I also carried forward. But I was lucky that the lump was on the surface of the breast, you know, so it was just a chance encounter either while bathing or changing clothes that I felt it. And I thought that it's related to menses, you know, like since during periods we feel a lot of changes in the breast, like cysts or pain, etc. I thought that is just related to that and that it will go away on its own. And I slept over it for whole 2 months, you know. In those 2 months, I completely forgot about it, you know, thinking I was so sure in my mind that it's going to go away. But of course it didn't. And 2 months from there, I suddenly got very tense because when I again saw that it's still there, I knew that there's something was wrong. I was so naive, I did not know what kind of a doctor to go to actually, you know, so I actually Googled to find out that there's somebody as a breast surgeon also who existed. So me and my husband, we went for the first investigation, which was an ultrasound. And the doctor said that the lump was benign, which means non-cancerous. So we were ecstatic, you know. I remember I shouted on top of my voice that, yay, I don't have cancer, you know. You can imagine how happy we would be, you know, to know that there's no cancer. But again, lucky for us, the doctor said that since it's a lump in the breast, let's not take any chances. And she asked us to get an FNAC done, which is a fine needle aspiration test. So they put a small fine needle into the lump and they take out some tissue or some fluid, which is later tested. So we got the test done and we again forgot about it, you know, because we had a report that said otherwise. But 2 days later, we were called to the FNAC center to be told that I had cancer. And so from there on, the journey started. I remember we went to my parents' place straight away from there. And, you know, the only thing on my mind after getting to know that I had cancer on our way to my parents' home was that how am I going to break this news to my parents? Being a parent myself, I just could not imagine that how can a parent be told that their kid has cancer.
Yeah.
That was the only thing running in my mind throughout the journey. We reached there and, we told everybody that I had cancer. And I remember I was the one who was consoling everybody, like hugging them, telling them that it's going to be okay, don't worry.
I can't even imagine because it might have been so overwhelming for everyone around.
Honestly, it never occurred to me as such that what if I'm going to die or this or that. I told everybody, that let's just focus on being positive. I want that kind of energy around me. Let's all have this deep faith in us that I'm going to come out of it and that this is only a phase.
A positive mindset is required to fight a disease, especially such a dreaded disease. So let's move on to your NGO now. Tell us something about your NGO and the work you do.
So as you mentioned in the introduction, we started the operations in 2014. I am a professor professionally. So I used to teach MBA students, when my treatment started and, even 2-3 years after my treatment got over as well. But then I left my job completely. I am no more working professionally, so to say. I am devoting all of my time to the NGO, of course, since it opened in 2014. And there are 5 major areas of operation. One is breast cancer awareness talks. Mm-hmm. So we do these awareness sessions across schools, universities, factories, slums, everywhere. And these are free of charge, because you can't imagine anybody to be paying to listen about cancer, So the only way that you can actually reach out to people is to give them information free of cost so that, you're able to reach out to more and more people for this. Then anywhere, whenever we do an awareness session in a factory or in a slum, wherein we know that people would not really take out time to go out, and get themselves screened, or they would not be paying money to get themselves screened, we bring screenings to them. So we do these free of cost cancer screening camps for both men and women for all kinds of screenable cancers when we are talking about people from lower income groups.
Okay.
So that's the second area, which is cancer screening camps. For awareness, we've also been doing a lot of awareness events throughout the year, which was before the COVID thing happened.
Yeah.
So our last event was with DMRC in 2019, November. And, we were stationed at 10 different metro stations for a period of 10 days, and we were able to reach out to more than 12,000 commuters. So we do similar events, 2 to 3 every year. Then we have a support group which is called Happiness Surrounds Us. And we have around 125 to 130 cancer warriors, and the number just keeps on increasing, sadly though. And most of the females are in a younger age group, say like 20 to 50 years. Because, a lot of times the queries that the younger people have are very different from what the older ladies have. Though we had everybody who needs, support from people. And anybody who has any kind of queries related to the treatment, side effects, doctors, or needs emotional support, everything is supported on the group. We provide.
So these events are only for the lower income group, or do you reach out to the middle class as well?
No, so I'll come to that. So see, awareness is of course for everybody, all filters of society. Awareness, we do it, like I said, in corporates also, schools and universities also, likewise in slums and in factories also. It's for everybody. Support group, when I say the particular support group, Happiness Surrounds Us, is for people who are internet savvy, of course, who have a smartphone with them and who can operate on WhatsApp. But we also do one-to-one counseling. So, if we get to know of people who may not even be wanting to join a group or who are older in age, or may not have a phone, we do provide, like a smartphone, we do provide counseling one-to-one as well. And we also do support seminars, like 2 to 3 support seminars in a year, wherein we have invited, eminent doctors from the fraternity. We've been lucky to have Brahma Kumari Sister Shivani be our chairperson for all of these events, because we feel that positivity is as important as giving them information about the disease.
Of course.
So we've been doing this for all of them. We provide for financial support as well, primarily to people who are from lower income group, but we have also been providing support to people who come from lower middle class families, because I somehow feel, it's kind of more difficult for that strata, because the government does have certain, schemes for people with BPL cards, etc. But then people from lower middle background have no such help with them. So we've been helping both these kinds of stratas to provide them with financial assistance, both for treatment and investigations. And last but not the least is rehabilitation support, which is particularly for ladies from lower income group. While a lot of people think that breast cancer always leads to losing a breast, it's not the case. There are both kinds of surgeries that can be done. One which, wherein their doctors only take out the small area of the lump, and the other one wherein the whole breast is removed. So rehabilitation support is provided to ladies, who had to lose a breast to cancer. When we started to go to certain hospitals to meet patients, we got to know that these ladies did not even know that there's something as a prosthesis, which is an artificial breast that even existed, So they would just keep a cotton pad, roll a cloth and keep it inside. But of course, they could not gather that kind of confidence to go out, socialize, because the shape is not the same, if you're just putting in anything inside. So we started with this initiative, which is called as Sathi Kit. And we provide one prosthesis as per the size of the lady's breasts. It has two special bras which are called mastectomy bras. It has one headscarf because of all the hair loss during chemo, and it has a pair of earrings which is just to make them feel normal and special and to tell them that it's still okay to go out and socialize. And somehow I've seen the broadest smile coming when they see the set of earrings.
That is so sweet. That's a very thoughtful gesture, Neeti. Very thoughtful gesture. I was just watching your TEDx talk, so where you showed pictures of where you had the surgery just 2 to 3 days after the surgery, and you went to a theater to watch a movie and with pipes sticking out. And so what, like you said, that nothing should stop you from having fun. So what were you thinking? I just wanted to know what were you thinking? What was going on in your head? Why? I mean, just to put into perspective that how positive thinking can help you, give you that mind strength to fight any difficulties. Like, come on, let's accept it. Life is it is unfair to everyone. It is not like it is fair to some people and unfair to some. It is difficult and it is a struggle for everyone. So why is it important to have that positive mind, positive thinking and mindset to fight a dreadful disease?
For me, I never wanted to ever think in my life, that because of cancer I could not do anything. That is when that it becomes a stop area for you. I did not want that. So even like you rightly mentioned, after my surgery with the pipe sticking out of my body, me and my husband, we decided to go to the theater and watch a movie, because that is what I would have wanted to do over a weekend, if cancer had not come to our lives. So I did not want anything to change to the extent possible. I did not ever want to feel self-pity or bad that, oh my God, see, cancer happened to me, so that is why I'm not able to do things that I could otherwise do. So to whatever large extent possible, I wanted to continue to live my life the same way. I wanted to continue to have fun. I like I said, I've been a very carefree person, and I kind of quite love living life. So I did not want any full stop or even a comma to it, to whatever extent I could do it. So it's not to say that my treatment did not have any difficulty or there were no challenges. Of course there were, I don't think so that I can say that everything just went like this, and it was a rosy picture. No, there were difficult times, of course, with the treatment and everything, but I really tried to just keep thinking positive, continue to do things that I was doing before cancer. As an example, I got registered for PhD before cancer happened. That was in 2011. And while I had, I had already left my career completely, like I mentioned to you, when the NGO started. But I still went on to finish my PhD only, again, primarily because I did not ever want to think, that had cancer not happened, then I would have done my PhD. So I decided that even though it is not for career anymore that I want to do my PhD, it is not for career progression, but something that I had started, I want to finish it off and never ever look back and think that, oh my God, cancer ki wajah se ye nahi hua. So it's a lot to do with the mindset, and I can tell you, it's not just with me. I've seen so many other strong, women, strong warriors who have fought cancer so bravely and strongly, and I have seen the difference in their recuperating from cancer, versus maybe a few others, who had kind of given up hope, or, who were very low during their treatment. I think that, even in terms of side effects, if you're thinking too much of side effects, they'll happen more to you, or you'll feel them more, So a lot of it is to do with the mindset. And it's not just about cancer, like you said, that life is not always rosy to everybody. And I agree that there are different kinds of difficulties that everybody faces. May not be health issues, could be some other, but everybody faces some kinds of issues in their lives, and there's no running away.
Yeah.
You cannot just shy away. You cannot think I'll sleep and I'll wake up and, they'll be gone.
Yeah.
So you have to accept and see whatever best can be done.
Like you said that with your NGO, you want to create awareness about breast cancer. So I would like to ask, why is it important to create cancer awareness, especially breast cancer for women?
Breast cancer can be cured if diagnosed early, so that is how important it is for early diagnosis to happen. Otherwise, breast cancer is, somewhat called as a silent killer, because usually by the time the symptoms actually start to emerge, like if there are very prominent symptoms that start to come that a lady can actually take care of and then go to the doctor, it's usually, reached an advanced stage where it's of course treatable but very difficult to be cured. So one thing is that, of course. And two, in India, still around 50 to 60% of women go to the doctors when it has reached an advanced stage. And that is why, the mortality rate in India is very high. So that is where the importance of awareness comes, because, here, see, there are, unlike, some of the Western countries wherein the screenings are very regularized, there is nothing of that sort that happens in India. So you have to be self-aware to be able to look after your body, to be able to find any change and go to the doctor at the right time.
What do you think, is cancer a taboo in India? Like, are people okay? Because when people hear the word breast, it is so sexualized in India. So do you consider women not going to the doctor because of the taboo around the word breast?
You have very rightly said, about both the things, that one, cancer in itself is a taboo still in India. And if it is of the breast, then, oh my God, it's even a bigger problem, because breast is supposedly just a sexual organ. Yeah. And, the issue about it and people be feeling so inhibited to even talk about breast, it's not just in rural India or uneducated people, it is equally so in our educated households as well.
Yes.
To just give you an example here, I once went to a factory to give an awareness talk, and I was just about to teach them how to do a self-breast exam. So I casually asked them, that you would have done your own, that you would have touched your breasts at some time, and they started to look at each other, shyly giggling and and then most of them said no. I said, how do you even take bath, if you don't touch your breasts? So one of them actually showed up. She said that we apply soap till here and then from here till here.
Wow.
So they are so embarrassed of their own bodies, and most of them were married women. And I literally had to tell them, that you have a physical relationship with your husband, So you're letting him touch you, but you yourself touch your body. But, like I was saying, that it's not just there in our educated households. You may have noticed, it happens in so many of our households. When we wash clothes and we have to put them up for drying,
Yes.
Our women's lingerie is either hung on a back rope wherein nobody can see, or either under a towel or a sheet, so that no one can see.
Yeah.
While underwear, they are like proudly hanging on the front row.
True. That is so.
That is not to put out your clothes on the front row for everybody to see, but the idea is that why should such a thought run across your mind that if it is our own clothes, where to put them so that nobody sees them? And I have seen so many cases, Jyoti, of people being told by their own families to not share the news of their diagnosis with anybody.
Okay.
And this is where it becomes so difficult to even ask for support, because you supposedly have one of the most dreaded disease, and then somehow you're being made to feel, that it is very embarrassing that you have breast cancer,
Yeah.
that you can't even share it with your own family, with your own set of friends.
Mm.
The burden becomes so much more.
This breast cancer awareness, the screening, the self-breast examination, these kind of awareness campaigns, and now these kind of workshops and that that you are conducting with your NGO. How has this helped people you worked with? Has anyone come up with special instances like, yes, I was a part of one of these workshops that you had conducted, and this helped me? Has anyone shared an incident with you, or how is this awareness helping people?
So yes, we have actually received a lot of messages also, phone calls also, after these events happen and after, these talks happen, of people letting us know that they've started to do their self-breast exams. There have been a lot of people, especially after we've done these awareness events, who have sent us their reports, So there have been cases wherein people, got themselves tested, the reports were with them, but then they never took a step forward to even go to a doctor to show them. And like as an example, during this DMRC event that I shared with you, we had calls and not just calls, but also people when they came to us, wherein I remember there was this couple, the wife just went past by, so we used to call them, that please come and talk to us. We had a proper kiosk with pictures, brochures, everything, And in that couple, the wife, just looked like this and she just went by. The husband stood there. He called his wife back. He said, "Ki inko samjhao. Tell her how to do it, And we explained the whole process of self-breast exam to her. Another day, the husband actually brought his wife to us, So this is how the awareness thing is happening, that people are intrigued to know more about it, when you're taking information to them. And even in terms of diagnosis, yes, we've known cases wherein we have, made people reach to the doctors and, their diagnosis happened and the treatment started and things like those. So yes, it does make a difference, definitely. And generally also not just talking about, our contribution to it, but over the years, I have seen a difference in people's accepting to talk about cancer, as opposed to how it was 8 to 9 years back.
Like we are talking, like the whole taboo around breasts is there. Like you shared these two incidents where the husband is asking his wife to come know more about it and tell her more about it. It again goes down to that taboo around breasts, where women are themselves hesitant to talk about it because there's the element of shame surrounding the topic. And it is encouraging to see that husbands asking their wives to come out, go get themselves checked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely.
See, in India, a lot of it is actually to do with the family telling you to do things,
Yeah.
And I have seen women, especially, not taking care of themselves as much as they should be doing. I know of a case wherein this lady, an elderly lady in her 60s, knew that, there was a big lump in her breast, kept the news to herself because her son was about to get married and she thought that she had cancer and she did not want to bring in the news of cancer, also in terms of all the expenses then going towards her treatment rather than the son's marriage. So she withheld the information to her. But see, the point with cancer is that you can ignore it for some time. You cannot ignore it forever. You will finally have to go to a doctor, but the time would probably be very late.
Yeah.
So no matter what, we might think, कि हम time पे नहीं करेंगे तो चल जाएगा. There's no running away from it. The sooner the better.
Yeah.
In all respects.
You're doing a disservice to yourself,
Exactly.
not going on time to find a solution and getting
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Neeti. Thank you so much for having this discussion. It's a very important discussion. Thank you for chatting with us today.